Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus, and by that I mean we never lose in Isaac ever again. We played really well, did good stuff. We're starting with Dr. Fetus, 6 CRH, 6 DC4. Wooden Nickel. Maggie's Faith. Oh, I hate this. It worked, thank God. Well, I mean, it's amazing. The damage, like, rate of fire means nothing on a run like this. I hate the way our character looks. It's like Geddy Lee at a Renaissance fair. But you know what? You're out here living your best life. I'm not going to be mad. As long as we have good HP, we will win this run. And that's not always true. It's close to being always true, but it's more applicable than ever on this run. As long as we don't screw ourselves over completely. Those of you, I like to use this as an educational platform. You may have heard me talking recently about having like a canker sore on the inside of my mouth. It keeps getting worse. So I Googled, like I took a look at it, and you know, I could go to the doctor obviously, because I mean, you can always go to the doctor, I suppose, but I live in an area where going to the doctor is not free. I want to point that out. It's paid for in our taxes, and then also via, you know, like a little bit more you have to kick in sometimes, depending on where you're sitting in the income brackets. But anyway, I didn't, because I was like, I got Isaac to record. I went on WebMD, and was like, I got a clear, like, blister on the inside of my lip. What is it? And I know it is the internet. Everyone's going herpes. Herpes. It's not herpes, okay? It's called a mucosal clot or something like that. Anyway, it's like a... How did it hit that but not that? I guess it got blocked by the one side. It's like a little zit, but it's completely clear instead of being like red or, you know, the color of whatever the inside of your lip is to begin with. I looked it up and it was like it's caused by a blocked salivary gland, or some users have this when they are, users is not a good word. Some people report having these when they have tartar controlled toothpaste. I look over in the bathroom, pick up the new toothpaste I've been using. It's like Sensodyne whitening with tartar control. The mystery's been solved. If you find yourself having a weird oral environment, maybe similar to my symptoms, check your toothpaste, see if it's got that tartar control ingredient going on in it, and get that trash out of here. I'm gonna stop using it immediately. I feel like, you know, what have I been doing with my life? How did it take me this long to actually Google it and figure it out? Now, possibly that's not the problem. You know, we'll switch toothpaste here and we'll see what's up. But, dude, I'm like on cloud 9 because I was wondering when the heck this thing was ever going to go away. It still might be a couple of days, but at least I know what the problem is now. You want to leave, Tomo? So, lump this in with the... We're going to save our money so that we can maybe get an arcade on the next... Oh, it won't be an arcade on the next floor, but we don't need keys for anything anyway just yet. Lump this in with Northernlion's other public health bulletins that he's done. For example, if you're sick, don't drink coffee and then take daytime cold medicine. It contains caffeine as well, and you're gonna find yourself bouncing off the freaking walls. I'm trying to think of what else we've had. Move around if you're on a long transatlantic flight so that you minimize your risk of deep vein thrombosis. Apart from that, you know, it's pretty good. This is one of those ones, when I did the coffee and cold medicine one, which I was living through at the time, I had never realized, I had never been told, or even just used critical thinking, I suppose, to think, to realize that, you know, they are the same thing. Essentially, they're both stimulants. Shouldn't have taken that yet, maybe? Oh, dude, this run is amazing already. It's incredible. We don't want to keep Wooden Nickel because it's just terrible, but we'll move on. We hit absolutely everything on that floor. I'm a very happy man. And I got inundated with replies that are like, duh, you didn't know that? Something that's always stuck with me. More than it's stuck with, like, most of my education has just vanished, you know? But my 11th grade psychology teacher, who was actually kind of a jerk, on one of the first days of class, said something that stuck by me for a long time. Common sense is neither common nor sensical. You know, common sense is learned. It's not the kind of thing you're born with. So common sense is not a helpful phrase. What common sense means is I've known this for a long time, most of the time. Are some things common sense? Maybe. I can't think of a great example right now. But coffee and cold medicine, I don't think that necessarily fits the bill. Sure, with a little bit of, you know, reasoning, you can understand they're both stimulants. But is that common sense? No, I don't necessarily think so. So, I took issue with that. Because I'm like, whenever someone says that's common sense, it's just a way to shame somebody and then not asking questions. So there's your homework for today. That being said, I do accuse people of not having common sense on the regular. What can I say? It's a unique shorthand. What is this? 2 of clubs. We'll pop it, hold per throw, and move along. Anyway, that's if even one person out there, the next time they end up with this weird kind of bump on the inside of their mouth, their cheek feels swollen, and they, you know, like, well, maybe I was biting into my sleep. Just check the toothpaste, dude. You might have the same reaction I have. I finally found it. My first allergy. Tartar controlled toothpaste. And I'm just, because I spent a lot of time, you know, being a streamer, I know the obvious questions that are going to come out of Twitch chat as a result of this. Aren't all toothpaste tartar control? I don't know. Ask your freaking dentist. Do I look like I spent 8 years in dentistry school? I'm here streaming The Binding of Isaac. That's a question for someone. There's common sense. Don't ask a streamer a question about dentistry unless it's like twitch.tv/dentist. Okay, what are we going to do? We got Perthrow and Yera. We can Yera the Perthrows, but there's not really much of a need because this is amazing. Let's see what we got in our shop and we'll take it from there. Rip. Isn't that ingredient in all toothpaste? I've been brushing my teeth 2 to 3 times a day for 29 years. Very rarely had this pop up in the past. So there are toothpastes that work. It's the blue Sensodyne, man. It's kind of tempting. The green Sensodyne. Chef's Kiss. My favorite toothpaste. I don't use Sensodyne because I have sensitive teeth. I use Sensodyne because my wife uses Sensodyne, and I thought maintaining 2 separate threads of toothpaste was a little bit overkill if we're going to be, you know, sharing everything. Once you're married, 50% of what you acquire after the marriage belongs to each other, you know, so it's like, I don't want to buy 2 toothpaste. That's just ridiculous. Magic Mush? Magic Mush? We have no excuse not to do our due diligence here because we're crushing it. And now I can't go back. I think that Sensodyne, you know, they got their claws in me. Now when I switch to another toothpaste, my teeth are like, this feels weird. But the blue Sensodyne is demonic. It's diabolical. It's giving me clogged salivary glands or something. I apologize, Procter & Gamble. I don't want to hurt your bottom line. I know I'm a very influential person. You know, remember that time Rihanna tweeted that Snapchat was dead? And then, you know, the bottom line for Snapchat fell through the floor and they lost like, you know, $2 billion in market value or something like that on the stock market. I know something like that's going to happen. Probably worse, honestly, because, you know, I might have a smaller following than Rihanna. The jury's out, but I think my following, like, respects me more. I'm, like, extremely well-liked is what I'm trying to say. Very influential. Don't cross me. You hear that, Ford Canada? I don't know why I was looking for a secret room there. It's kind of a stretch. Yeah, okay. But it's got to be said, green Sensodyne, 10 out of 10. One of the best toothpastes ever made, in my opinion. Blue Sensodyne, I don't like it. In fact, it's a biological agent for me. If you want to keep my mouth shut, hit me up with some shares. Because you guys are crushing it. Might as well peep it. Judgment? Sure. I'm going to blow up Judgment. I think a deal with the devil at this point, especially with our recurring HP, is a little bit more valuable than anything else we could get here out of the Judgment, which is liable to be HP we don't need anyway because we have Maggie's Faith. Like, this run is just stupid strong. And you know, if you're going to have a streak in the quadruple digits, which I think we're pretty much destined to do, you're going to have a couple of runs that are just guaranteed victories, and it's pretty much where we're sitting right now, having a great time here. And I really, like, short of complaining about not having bomb synergies, there's nothing wrong with this run whatsoever. We don't even need the bomb synergies, they're just nice to have. Rune Bag's very good. Or at least decent. So yeah, I don't mind being the guy. The guy who illuminates his own ignorance for some subjects to allow other people to be like, yeah, you didn't know that? But really, they're like, oh my god, I didn't know that, but I can appear to have known it by just being one of the 10 people who says, you didn't know that? I've been the you didn't know that guy. How did you not know that? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows coffee and cold medicine. They're synergistic in the worst conceivable way. I'll be that guy for you. Doesn't bother me. I've already made a career on pretending to be slightly stupider than I am. Only slightly. But I have a theory about that. My theory is that I'm actually a genius. But anybody who opens their mouth for... I mean, someone took a stat on the our Northernlion subreddit. I'm producing a lot of content right now, okay? It might not be the highest quality content. That's really up for debate. It depends what kind of stuff you're into. It's one or two, basically. It's like Breaking Bad, except for the episode with the fly. And then Northernlion's up there in the #1 spot or the #2 spot. It's really me and Breaking Bad. Me and Gilligan. VG, as I call him, competing for media zeitgeist. But you gotta admit, it's hard to outproduce me from a prodigious standpoint. I don't necessarily produce the most videos per day, but I think if you took a very arbitrary measure of consistency, number of videos produced per day, every single day, for X amount of time, you'd find me near the top of that list. So they did something on the subreddit. They were like, you know, if you do a back-of-the-napkin calculation, the guy between streams and daily YouTube videos produces something like 5 to 6 hours of content a day. That's like 1/3 of his waking hours are spent essentially talking freeform with the internet. My theory is very simple. Anybody edited enough can look like a genius, and anybody improvisational enough can look like an idiot. And I'm not saying that I'm the world's smartest man. I'm just saying that you know, you ever hear the expression, it's better to appear an idiot than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt? All I'm doing is opening my mouth and removing doubt on a regular basis. And I think, you know, I'm not complaining about my lot in life there, obviously. I'm happy about it. But I'm just giving you my methodology. My defense, as the case may be. So I know we've had a lot of Guppy's Head interactions lately. I'm not going to apologize for it, because Guppy's Head wears the flyest clothes, it eats at the coolest restaurants, and it dates the hottest chicks. And you're just jealous. I don't... I mean, I like having extra HP here. We're going to blow this up, because we don't want to lose our Eternal Heart. We could probably make a case for left hand, but I don't know. Maggie's faith is also very strong. I think no matter what you take, you're happy with it. But I think I'm going to stick with this for now. And so far, it's working out nicely. Can continue moving on. This is the first time in a little while, actually, that I really feel like we've got an extremely, like, guaranteed chance of making it to boss rush. We're like 4 minutes ahead of schedule. So what happens when you have, you know, bombs as your tiers since the start of the game, essentially. You do get a deal with the devil. Hagalaz, pretty much horrible. Don't really care what we get here. I'll take it, and I'll definitely take this. And now, if we weren't going to take Maggie's Faith before, we're definitely going to take it now, because it's essentially a free deal with the devil every single floor. We're going to go to boss rush, I think. I'm kind of tempted to go to this boss trap room, but we'll see. We'll see. Weirdly, like, sometimes on a... to give... maybe I'll just do this for the next 20 minutes. Sometimes runs where you know you're in a very good position to succeed right from the front. Right from the start, I should say. Sometimes the commentary comes effortlessly. You just start pulling on whatever thread comes to mind, and you come up with some gold. And you know, when you finish the video, you're like, no, I don't want this to be over yet. Don't cut my mic. But sometimes, you know, to be honest with you, we should have saved that. it's kind of a crutch to have a run that's a little, I don't want to say below average, but a run that's not quite sorted for you, because you can be like, you know, we can talk for a minute about the items that I need, we can talk a little bit about things that would be bad for us, and oh no, if this shows up, this would cause a problem, but if this shows up, that'd be cool. Whereas right now, literally, like, the whole gameplay aspect of this run comes down to, like, when an enemy shows up, we're gonna move out of its way, and then we're gonna press the arrow key in the direction that it is, and then they'll die. Usually pretty much immediately. Oh, we got them both. So there's a certain lack of tension, for sure, that comes along with a run like this. That's okay, you know? We already talked a little bit about... First off, I probably saved maybe like 2 mouths over the course of the entirety of Planet Earth, and I'm okay with that. I think that's a pretty good batting average, you know? Maybe somebody out there, they've been dealing with this their whole life, and they're gonna be like, I use blue Sensodyne. NL, you saved me. I didn't save you. The internet saved you. I just knew how to use Google. An increasingly valuable skill not enough people give you, you know, credit for. I don't want to have 2 DAE videos in a row. Whenever, for those of you not well versed in the lore, whenever NL says DAE, he's referring to computer programming, a skill that he's very much enjoying learning, but pretends to feel embarrassed about because otherwise people will shame him for being a nerd and continuing to improve himself into adulthood when, for most people, you have just given up at that point. Yera doesn't work here. It doesn't work here, right? You know, I'm gonna try it. I knew it didn't work there, but I also know we're going to get another Yera rune before the end of the game. So, I just wanted to see if it worked out. I didn't like any of those items well enough to go for it. I know we probably could have... If we wanted to be full Zane, you grab the Crooked Penny. And then you... You're still alive? You grab the Crooked Penny and you try to double the items up in there, but... Nah, I'm not doing it. Anyway, what I was going to say is I don't want to DAE 2 videos in a row, but... You know, that's pretty much... I know I've hit an intermediate level in programming. At least, you know, let's not call it intermediate because it's kind of a loaded term. You know, you could be an intermediate developer who's got 5 years of experience. I mean, like an intermediate student. Let's call it what it is. Because now whenever I program stuff, probably like 20% of my time is spent writing code, and the other 80% is like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I conceptually know how to do it, but I'm going to Google to find, like, the specific name of the method in the documentation. Well, not the ideal time for that blank room. What do you mean it's not document.body.getElement by ID? It's document.getElement by ID? What are you thinking, W3? No, thank you. Man, just increasingly making me feel thankful that that I didn't take the left hand, because honestly, the red chests haven't earned it so far. Googling is like the most important skill in the world. Sometimes I wouldn't say Kate gets mad at me, and to be fair, I'm kind of like, I think I can miss the point sometimes. I'm oftentimes too much of a literalist, but she'll ask me a question like, you know, oh, well, what year was the French Revolution? And then I'll, like, look it up, and she's like, why'd you have to look it up? And, well, because in today's modern era, it's less, knowing things is important, but knowing how to know things, or how to learn things to be more accurate, has got to be, like, the most important skill on planet Earth right now. Like, if you have the ability... If you have a cursory knowledge of, like, the field you're talking about, I feel like you could Google anything. He's delirious. This doesn't work. And figure it out. Like, somebody smarter than you has already codified a tutorial somewhere that you can use to improve yourself. Now, I'm not in a position to hire anybody for the most part, outside of my own friends. Yeah, we have a little nepotism at Procter & Gamble, which I've recently been named the chairman of the board of. I'm happy to admit. I'm happy to disclose, I should say. But I feel like if I were hiring somebody, knowing how to do something, valuable skill. Like, I'm not just gonna have somebody walk in off the street and they're like, well, I know I'm interviewing for the job of electrician. I've never actually done any electrical work, but I'm very well versed in using Google. I would be like, please get out of here. You're wasting my time. But if you got 2 candidates equally qualified in the on-paper tasks of the job, give me the candidate who, instead of saying, I don't know how to do that, says, I would look up how to do that. Very subtle shift. But, you know, I think there's little shame. Lil Shane. Me ask you something. That's my impression of Lil Shane from The Walking Dead. Me ask you something, Lord. Anyway, this has gone on too far. We might keep I'm drowsy, because if we choose to go to Delirium, and this is a possible Delirium play here, we'd want this. You know, to not know something is not shameful. Everybody's got gaps in their knowledge. Like, some idiots out there don't even know if you combine caffeine and cough syrup, you're gonna get, like, super jittery and shaky. What kind of idiot? I know. It's hard to believe, but it's the dang truth. I think we will fight Hush. We're going too fast, for one. To not know something is fine. That's innocent. To not possess the knowledge of how to learn something is much more troubling. Okay, who needs Guppy? We just got... Ooh, and Static Tears, too. We just got the Mulligan, which is pretty much gonna be Guppy for us. We can save a single key by doing this. What a colossal benefit. Usually, people consider wastes to be colossal. Nah, not this time. That was a benefit of the colossal variety. Give me this. There actually is a decent case to be made, as strange as it may sound, for taking Box of Friends. Because a doubled BFF Incubus, not to mention Rotten Baby, pretty helpful. And you never know what you're going to get from Hush. Little Hushy, I should say. You know, there's still a lot of value in just knowing how to do something by default. Or not by default, but through experience. I'm just saying, just because you don't know, oh, in C# they use dot count instead of dot size as the method to determine the number of elements inside of an array. Sorry. I'm not necessarily a great example, but I have to look that up every time I switch languages. I'm like, is this a dot length, a dot size, or a dot count? Oh, this one's a dot count? Gotcha. Wow, this is poor damage. I'm going to use I'm Drowsy here. DAE Intelligence. Dude, Static Tears is worth nothing. With Dr. Fetus, at least. I don't know what people always say. What I just said, I'm gonna, like, besmirch my own good name, okay? I hate when people who have never been in a position to hire someone give advice like, well, if I was running the business, here's what I'd do. You don't know what you're talking about. And I apply that to myself as well. So you know, you might think I'm talking out of my butt with respect to even this issue, but, you know, I work in a business where there's zero barrier to entry and all of your stats are publicly available. So I have friends, I swear to you, this is not a made-up anecdote. But I have friends who will message me, and they'll be like, hey, if I was in your position, I would just do videos with PewDiePie, because he's, like, really big. So I would just do videos with him, and I would get popular that way. And I'm like, you don't understand what you're talking about. First off, that's a very cynical way to approach your YouTube following. You know, a lot of channels have grown like that, and, you know, I love Cry. Cry did videos with PewDiePie, and obviously, from a numbers perspective, that benefited him. But it's not like a guarantee, for one. And moreover, if it's not the kind of content you want to make, you're not really being true to yourself. Which, you know, it's fine to compromise a little bit, I think, to reach your fulfillment from a capitalistic standpoint. But, you know, the compromise to that great degree, I think, is a little different. Not to mention, dude's inundated with collaboration requests and probably never wants to work with other people to begin with. Moreover, numbers aren't everything. You know, there's a certain... I'm familiar, or at least I should say I'm aware of the fact that I have a brand. I'm not friends. I'm not even the Eric Andre show. I'm like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm like a radio show where you really like the host. You know, it's listened to 50, 100,000 people on a regular basis. Whatever he makes, they'll watch anything, or more, almost everything. Because, of course, I did see the numbers on the Factorio series. They were not amazing. But, and I'm more than content to be there. You know, I don't have much interest in being the kind of YouTube channel that publishes 3 videos a week of tightly edited content. Each one of those videos gets a few 100,000 views. I'm completely okay being the guy who gets those few 100,000 views, but does it by producing like 4 times as many unedited videos. Or not 4, probably like maybe 8 or 9 times. But that's not even to say that it's more work. It's just a style of work I'm much happier doing. We've reached the tooting my own horn section of the classic Northernlion video. I think the reason I'm able to stay so consistent is, first off, something's obviously broken in my brain. Like, there's a reason that, you know, over the course of time, people's productivity rise and fall, and I'm still here playing Isaac. It's just, there must be a screw loose somewhere up there, but it's kind of like a tactical loose screw. Like, it's helping me out and I appreciate it. But it's also that, and people scoffed at it, but I structure my content in a way that I like doing it. You know, so many YouTube channels. There's like 2 things that kill YouTube channels and streamers. I'm not talking about physically, because obviously, like, diabetes and deep vein thrombosis are going to come for us all eventually. We spend all day sitting down. We're screwed. But one is, you do it so long, you start to focus only on the negatives of the job, and you start to lose perspective, and you start to forget about those days when you were, working at the grocery store, or mom and pop sex shop, and you daydreamed about being able to spend all day making videos, and you were like, hey man, I'd make 10 videos a day if I were on YouTube. You know, it's easy to lose that hunger once you just start focusing on the negativity, I think, and especially the longer you've been in the game, the easier it is to be like, maybe this job kind of sucks. And there are things about it that suck. But the duty of doing the job, I've never lost sight of the fact that that's fun. What sucks about it? Well, there's no long-term career prospects. I already did the video about it being like a dead-end job of the best variety. The other thing is, I don't understand, I follow these people on Twitter, they're like, I did my taxes and I'm only getting a small refund. Boop, boop. This sucks. I'm like, refund? What on earth is that? I didn't realize until this year that people are like, they go into their tax filing expecting to get a refund. I'll give you, from the self-employed, weird Twitch side of the business, here's how taxes work. I paid X in quarterly installments. My income has fluctuated wildly compared to last year, maybe higher, maybe lower. Well, we have an accountant, but you give your accountant the documents and you just dread the phone call coming in. Sometimes they're like, hey, the government owes you a lot of money. And sometimes they're like, you owe the government like an astrological? You owe the government a Pisces amount of money. No, but it's, anyway. That's one of the things that sucks about the job. But people lose sight of the fact that the duty itself is amazing. And the meta stuff is fine. The other thing that kills YouTube channels, in my opinion, they start thinking of it, you gotta think of it as a business, in my opinion. They start thinking of it way too much as a business. They make compromises, and they start doing things they do not enjoy, and that becomes unsustainable. What have I done? People make fun of me, and I do think I'm kind of, I'm cut weirdly. You know, I'm being honest with you. Very few of these 3,000 Isaac episodes have I ever gone into them being like, I don't want to do this. You know, Isaac is the stuff that, in advance, like, when I start my day, right now it's like Isaac and Slay the Spire dailies. But for years it was like, I'm so excited to play Isaac today. It's not like a visceral excitement like, did I use my Yarrow rune back there? I might be an idiot. But I'm like, I'm into Isaac, dude, and I've structured a channel. I'm so, like, flattered is one word, but really lucky is the word I should be using. That for some reason there's still like, you know, a few tens of thousands of people that enjoy watching these videos on a day-to-day basis. That's amazing to me. To you, that's a quick check. With all disrespect, let me say this. I'm drowsy. I am drowsy. Who's probably going to snooze again? Ipecac is actually a nice synergy here. I'm liking this, but yeah, you know, once I started making these YouTube videos for the audience, but also with my own enjoyment in mind, I could do this for the rest of my life. Do I want to? I don't know. We'll see. At some point, I might want to put that intermediate C# experience into practice. But for now, dude, I got like no complaints. Hopefully you got minimal complaints as we finish an episode a little on the quick side here. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.